Yeah. What was it like to watch Scream 5? First of all, I don't know why. We do know why. We know why that they called it just Scream and not Scream 5, which is what it is. They called it Scream because that's what Halloween did. When I went to get my ticket, I said Scream 5. That's the name of the movie. That's what it is in chronological order. I went into the movie thinking that, they could do something fun and hopefully bring back some scary to the franchise. The third one it almost acts as a parody of itself, but at least it was fun. Scream 4 did probably all of the good stuff, I think, came from Wes Craven. His last outing as the director on the franchise. This one is such a missed opportunity. They could have had an ability to bring back somebody from the first one that would have elevated the movie. So the movie ends with it taking place at the original house from the first one. You have the same structure there, only you condense it to 2 acts for the first hour, say. And you then reveal who the killers were. You can still have the same killers as they are, but then all of a sudden, you have a third killer, Ghostface, show up. And this time, what you do is you invert the colors. You have a dark mask with white eyes and white mouth. All of a sudden, this third killer shows up and fucking kills those 2 characters, those 2 young characters. And then you're into the third act. You don't know what to expect. Wait, you unveiled these 2 characters and then all of a sudden there's a third person who just came out of nowhere? What the hell is going on? And it completely subverts the expectation of the same structure that has happened with most of the movies. And I like the opening scene with the Ghostface actually pretending to have a normal voice. They utilized the actor's voice in his normal voice instead of putting on the "hello, Sydney," that type of thing. That was really good. But then it slowly progresses into the same thing. And okay, fine, do that. All right. This is the other thing. You make the kills all like bloodless, PG-13 type of stuff. And then as the movie goes on, once that third act reveal occurs, that's when all fucking hell breaks loose, and it's getting gritty now. Like, you get kills the way that Drew Barrymore's death was in the first one. Once the third act comes, you go into it, and then all of a sudden, the creepiness comes up. You have the chases. A friend of mine pointed out a really great point. There are no exciting chases in the movie. All of the chases are constrained to like a hallway, whether in a hospital or a house. There's really no exciting chases that happen, no creativity, and it needed that. It needed to break out of that small shell of just having someone run after them down a hallway and then it's over like that, and you have simple stabs. David Arquette's death is completely ordinary. It needed to be this like really horrific death in order for it to count, and he just gets stabbed in the stomach and bleeds out on the floor. That's it. And it's the same thing that happens to the sheriff earlier on in the movie, the mom. So I'm going back to the third act over and over again. This hypothetical third act. Here's the backstory to this. The third Scream was supposed to have Stu Macher, Matthew Lillard come back. And he was supposed to be orchestrating these killings from these cult members that were following him, that were high school students, that were taking orders from him while he was in prison. And the reason they didn't do it is because Columbine happened. There afterwards, for 4 and now 5, there was like rumors that he might come back and they might utilize that storyline again. Kevin Williamson actually did utilize that storyline for the TV show The Following that he created. Even though it was used in that way, it's still viable because it was never done in the way of using Matthew Lillard and bringing back Stu Macher. This is the thing, is that you can have these other actors pretending to be Stu Macher again and that kind of wild and crazy, zany psychopath, the way that Lillard did it so specifically and in a way that harkens back to Clockwork Orange. That twisted delight.
Oh, this is the greatest part. You're gonna love this. We got a surprise for you, Sydney. Yeah, you're gonna love this one. It's a scream, baby. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
That's so ingrained in his personality that he brings to his performances. Everybody else is impersonating him. Everybody else is reflecting what they had already seen, not what he naturally brought to the role. And that's what they needed to bring back. You liked the character of Alex in Clockwork Orange because, not because of what he was doing these horrific, violent things, but it was because he was joyous in it. And he was passionate about this twisted fucking stuff that he was doing. Even if a character is doing that, why do we love the Joker? Because there's something magnetic that they bring to the role. Even though they're villainous, they are captivating because they enjoy what they're doing so much. And inherently, audiences love to see characters enjoy what they're doing. And that's what this movie needed to have. It needed to bring back Matthew Lillard for this third act, this hypothetical third act that didn't happen. The character needed to be there to remind those copycats that no, I'm the motherfucker here. He's the one who's the formidable antagonist of this movie. He needed to be the one to have that, and he wasn't in it at all. Oh man. You have this untapped character that only was around for the first movie, and yet Matthew Lillard has expressed fervent interest in returning.
So there's a chance he's gonna pop up in this new one. That's what's gonna happen.
That's what I wish. Tell the people that make these decisions I'm available.
He feels he didn't die.
I didn't, dude. I will throw a TV on my face right now to prove it. On TV, I will be like, here's the deal. This 2-ton TV, I'm gonna throw on my face, and if I die, then I will let this moment go.
The TVs now, you wouldn't die, but the TVs back then, you definitely would.
I would not die. I would not die. They had to add those sparks. Those sparks aren't real.
That's kind of the last vestige of bone marrow, so to speak, to take and utilize for this franchise. I think from here on out, it's kind of over. They used the opportunity that they had to put those original actors into the franchise again. They mostly have nothing really to do. The original actors don't even have a scratch on them by the end of this movie. Gale and Sydney in the last exchange between the characters are sitting at the back of an ambulance, and in the very next shot, they're gone for the last shot. They couldn't even stick around for the last shot. That's how rushed it was. That's how, all right, we're getting through this. We're going through the motions. Let's get it out there because Halloween is happening and they're making more movies. And now there's another Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And broaden even everything else to Matrix Resolution. One of the Re's. It's a Re something title. This iteration of the movie needed to check off a few boxes. It needed to be scary, it needed to be fun, it needed to be gory, and it needed to be creepy. Even Scream 3 had some scary moments. The moment where the mom that Sydney is having visions of, or a nightmare of, her walking to the house really slowly and then coming to the window, that's creepy. That still creeps me out. I have a thing about monsters or ghosts or something, coming to the window. Ever since Signs did that thing where Gibson looks out the window at night and on top of his barn or outside his roof. That fucking is creepy. That shit is disturbingly creepy. It still gets to me. Even though the third movie had its shortcomings, and it had inappropriately comedic moments that did not fit in a Scream movie.
Do you want to have this conversation with a polygraph? Is that a threat, detective? When it's a threat, you'll know it. Was that a threat?
Boys.
It still had elements that were strong, especially comparative to what later happened with now Scream 5. Oh boy, it was a hugely missed opportunity. There was one other idea that I had in which Sydney would be the killer in Scream 5. Because you already have this setup that, say in Scream 3, she was seeing hallucinations dealing with PTSD. Imagine after so long a time of what that would do to a psyche. You could justify that as the reveal of she, has two personalities that she's battling with. You got normal Sydney over here, and then you have this psychotic break of somebody who the only way they could deal with it is to become, what they've been consumed by, the memories and nightmares of these horrific events. I mean, I would have preferred that from the way it is now. At least that's taking chances. At least it's going, balls to the wall. It's doing something different. I would have appreciated that. Neve Campbell looks fantastic in the movie, but she has nothing to do. She has nothing to do in the movie. If they're gonna keep doing this, which inevitably they will, if we don't decide to embrace great original stuff and really pay to see them, go to those movies and such. If we just keep giving money to franchises that we grew up with, we're not going to see a new Scream. We're not going to see a new Back to the Future or a new Terminator franchise, things like that. We're not going to see new movies if we keep doing that. Oh boy. See, this is a funny moment that I really appreciated in it, and it has nothing to do with the Scream franchise. It's a reference to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where they set on fire one of the killers who was one of the Manson family killers who gets set on fire with a flamethrower by Leo DiCaprio. That was just an in-joke, and that made me laugh in the theater. That was hilarious. That was funny, but it has nothing to do with the Scream franchise. So it's like, okay. If the best parts of a movie have nothing to do with the franchise and are just in-jokes, come on. That can't be the strength of a movie. An in-joke? I think that's it. Hey, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Show some love to the video, and tune in next time and keep showing love to each video that comes out. Ta-da!